welcome to your daily love message from your person. My name's Liz and this is Guided by Angels. And I'm going to bring in the Divine Masculine Polar Secrets deck today to bring in a message. So what do they want you to know? And this covers their light and their dark aspects and the pain and the fear, but also the hope and the joy and the way you make them feel. So let's see what they want to say. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can reach out to me at guidedbyangelsxo@gmail.com. And if you haven't already watched it, make sure you watch the early reading. It was very powerful about manifesting this union, about manifesting it so it's the perfect version of it for you. So you must have faith in the timings and the how and the when and all the lessons being learned in between for you on that. So thank you, angels. What's the guidance coming through today? What's the guidance coming through? What do they want to say to you today? What do they want you to know? What's the guidance? What's on their mind? So I'm taking out any cards I feel I'm guided to. And I'm going to start with these. So the first message is, I fear. So we've got 3 dark cards and 3 light cards here. So it's kind of like 3 cards of their fears and 3 cards of their hopes. So they're saying, I fear that you're going to move on. Now, this has been coming up over the weekend, their fear of rejection, because they felt like you've been detaching a little bit, working on you, following your own bliss, thinking about what you want, maybe pulling your energy back so you're actually matching their energy. Maybe you've only been replying if they've been reaching out, or you've just completely let go yourself, and they've been sensing this. So I fear that you're going to move on during this separation and during this silence. Please don't. Please wait for me. So they're really afraid that you're moving on. So they're curious about you. So I feel a lot of them will be trying to test the water a little bit, and they start doing that by doing things like checking up on you on social media, seeing if you are single still, seeing if people are around you, seeing what your profile picture's like, if they can gather any information from there. Or they may be asking friends or family members about you if they are in the same circles of you. If they're at work, they may be around more. They could even be driving past your home if they live locally, or trying to just find anything out they can. Sometimes they just kind of put your name in Google, as crazy as it is, because nothing usually comes up, but they may do that to see if there's any information there, because they're afraid. I fear you're going to move on. And this is also another good thing, because it means they're going to take action. They're giving me fear. Yeah, there's fear there being released in them. And when they feel fear, this is when they break the silence. This is when they break the separation. So obviously when they're in fear, they pull back and they go into isolation. But when they're in fear about you moving on because of separation or stillness, that's when they know they have to do something about it and make a change. So I feel that's what they're being guided to do. They're thinking, do you want to hear from me? And a lot of them are dealing with fears about you rejecting them, not wanting them anymore. So they're saying, please wait for me. Please give me time. Please trust me to come back and make it right with you. I'm sorry about the past. And I secretly have intimacy issues. So they're letting you know why they pulled away in the first place, because of intimacy issues. Now, this can be for many reasons. It can be because they saw their mum and dad in a bad relationship, or maybe there was a divorce, or there was something that affected that. This could also be because they've had a bad experience in a relationship in the past, and they don't want to get hurt again. For many of them, they're in karmic relationships that they don't need to be in. They shouldn't be in them. The karmic cycle is completed, but they're afraid. So a lot of them can't be intimate for that reason, or they're guarded, or they're watching the thoughts and feelings. But many of them are just feeling intensity from the connection with you, and they're afraid of being hurt. So it brings up intimacy issues, wounds. It brings up childhood wounds about being loved, about being good enough to be loved, about being worthy of love, and about being rejected and abandoned. And that's why they're also saying, please wait for me, because they're really afraid that you're going to abandon them. So a lot of them can pull away and not actually step forward, because they think it's easier to remain in the silence and the separation than actually come forward and be vulnerable. So these are things they're working out. I talk about you all the time. Now, they're talking about you to others in their mind. So maybe they've actually had a conversation with their family members about you, but it's been in their mind. So I'm not saying all of them are talking about you all the time, because many of them will be quite reserved in this way. They'll bottle it all up. They won't be telling anybody about you. But in their mind, they may have had a very long, deep conversation with people that matter to them about you. And they're envisioning that. So they're thinking, how would my mum react if I spoke about you? Or how would my dad react? Or what would my family say? My brother, my sister, or whomever. So I feel they are having conversations in their mind all about you with other people. This is also for those of them who are talking about you. They may be talking to a trusted friend about you. They may be talking to someone they can trust. It could be a colleague or someone that they want advice from. So they're saying, I do talk about you all the time, even if that's just in my own head. So they are connecting with you in this way. They're saying to you, how do we know each other so well? How do you see straight through me? It's like you're reading my mind and it freaks me out. I feel so exposed. So this is also a big fear that makes them vulnerable. So they're really thinking about this. How do we know each other so well when we haven't really spent any time together? Or when we don't even really know each other, or when we've only just seen each other. Depends what your connection is like, whether you know them well or not. But the thing is, they feel connected to you even after a minute. So they're saying, how do you know me so well? And how do you see straight through me? How can you see through the mask when nobody else can? So they are very aware of how you make them feel. And you make them feel exposed. You make them feel vulnerable. And that's why they can also be on guard. So they're trying to work this out. They may also be talking to someone about this, saying, you know, this person sees straight through me. This person knows me so well without really knowing me at all. It's like this person can read my mind. And they're also very interested in that because it's about their psychic awareness. So they may be very aware that you're an intuitive being, and it may be very mysterious to them, but also very exciting. They find it exciting, especially if you do spiritual work, if they're aware of that spiritual work, or if you do psychic work, or if you're connecting with something different than everybody in their normal life. You know, if you're doing something completely different, say you're doing healing, or you're doing Reiki, or sound healing, or you're doing crystal therapy, or whatever it is, it will be very intriguing to them. So you intrigue them at the same time. Even though it freaks them out, it's only because they feel vulnerable, because they have intimacy issues, because nobody's ever seen through them that way before. Nobody's ever made them feel that way before. So it freaks them out. And I don't feel it freaks them out in a bad way. It kind of excites them and intrigues them and makes them curious all at the same time. What scares them is the fact that they are so afraid of losing you. Meeting you has changed me and everything for the better. So they're saying it's changed me, meeting you, for the better, even if it seems otherwise, if they've pulled away or they've gone within the cave or they've hidden. They're saying it's changed me for the better. It's changed everything for the better because you've exposed things in my life that need to go. You've made me aware of changes. You've made me aware of changes I need to make. You've made me aware that my life isn't quite right or something needs to change. So you've made them aware of their deepest, darkest truths and their triggers. And they're grateful for that, even though it makes them feel exposed, even though it makes them feel vulnerable, even though it brings up wounds and problems inside, things they need to heal and deal with. And they're saying, I miss you so much, so they're missing you. And this is also something they're questioning. How can I miss you so much when I don't even really know you? How can I miss you so much when we haven't really spent any time together? How can I miss you so much? And that's the power of the soul bond. So they're thinking about you right now, saying, I miss you so much. I miss you in the separation and the silence. I really hope you're not going to move on. So I feel they are taking guided action to connect with you, to reach out to you. And they're doing it very gradually by testing the water on social media, seeing what you're up to, or asking people about you, talking to people about you, or creating conversations in their mind where they can perhaps start a conversation about you if they know anyone you're connected to. And they also want to reach out as well. So they may also send like a little small greeting, like, hi, how you doing? To test the water to see if you're going to be receptive to that. Because they may be absolutely in fear that you're not going to reply at all, or you may have blocked them or ghosted them. So these are things you're thinking about, that they may have blocked or ghosted you in the past. But they go through these feelings too. You know, have you changed your phone number? Have you blocked me on social media? Or are you going to actually listen to me? Are you going to let me back in? This puts fear into that. So they are dealing with those fears too. But ultimately today I feel that they are missing you and they do want you to wait for them. And it's not about you waiting, like waiting around, looking at your clock. It's about you knowing they're going to make the right decision. and they're going to make the right changes, and they are going to come forward in divine time. And obviously you know your own heart anyway, so you know that there's not really any point moving on or trying to be with someone else, because they are the one for you. And when I say moving on, I mean obviously enjoy your life and do things that fill up your cup and things that you're passionate about and things you enjoy, because that's giving back to the self. That's focusing on your needs. That means that you are a successful, assured, self-assured person. You don't need another person to be happy. So you complete you by being you. And they're also very admiring of that. You know, they find that a very sexy quality. The fact that you're not waiting for that. So if you feel you're waiting around, it's time to change that and do you your way. So they do feel they're going to reach out because they miss you. They are talking about you to someone or in some way, even if that's just in their mind. They do know that meeting you has changed everything for them, and they are happy about that, even though it may have brought up vulnerability, insecurity, and really exposed the fact that they're wearing a mask and they are dealing with their own intimacy issues in their own way, whatever they are. But they're also worried that you're going to move on, and that's going to bring in the change. So don't be surprised if you hear them whispering to you through telepathy, you know, that they're freaked out, or you see through them, or you're connecting with them in that way. And what I really feel you can do as well today, and this is something I was connecting with on a live not long ago, and something that's worked on my own journey, you know, get yourself into a calm position, a calm state of mind where you're not going to be interrupted, and put your hands in front of you and close your eyes and call them in. Call them in on the 5D, call them in, and then visualize them taking your hands and sitting in front of you, and have a conversation with them. And you'll hear their voice in your head replying to your questions or telling you what's going on with them, and you'll feel that rapport, and it will build that connection up, not only in the spiritual realm, in the 5D, but it will also make it stronger in the physical. And that can also open the doors very quickly of communication. I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.